Sunny Hostin of The View, who's constantly raging about race and reparations and how bad America is and its racial past and all this stuff.
To look at themselves very hard in the mirror and say, have we really not brought this on ourselves?
Well, they're not going to do that. Why would they do that?
Sunny Hust has long been recognized for her bold and unfiltered opinions. However, her most recent revelation on air shocked not only her co-hosts, but also the viewers of The View. In an unexpected moment during a recent episode, Sunny dropped a bombshell that no one saw coming. She's planning to leave the United States and move to Canada with her family. Yes, you read that correctly. The lawyer-turned-TV host who has made a name for herself by tackling America's most controversial issues is preparing to say goodbye to the country she's called home. But why? What could possibly drive her to make such a dramatic choice? Hold on tight, because this story is as complex as it is contentious.
I think he doesn't want he's not going to say that J.D. Vance is a successor because he thinks he's his own successor.
But doesn't that mean that Obama can run also?
Well, you would think so because part of the resolution says no person shall be elected to the office of the president more than 3 times.
He doesn't want to acknowledge J.D. Vance as his successor because he believes he's paving his own path. But doesn't that mean Obama could run again as well? You'd think so, especially since part of the resolution states that no person can be elected to the office of the president more than 3 times. Sunny didn't hold back as she explained her reasoning. "I'm just so tired," she began, her voice filled with frustration and sadness. "This country is racist, it's toxic, and it's not working for everyone. I feel stuck here, like so many of us do." Her words hit hard, leaving the studio audience in stunned silence, struggling to process what they'd just heard. Even Sunny's co-hosts seemed caught off guard. Whoopi Goldberg, never one to shy away from controversy, appeared momentarily speechless before asking for clarification. Sunny, however, stood firm, elaborating on the deep sense of dissatisfaction she feels living in the United States, especially in the current political climate shaped by former President Donald Trump. She even brought up comedian Rosie O'Donnell's recent move to Ireland, calling it admirable and expressing envy for those who have the resources to leave.
And I've been criticizing them for 8 years for doing it, pointing out that it's not the job of the media to take sides.
Sunny's frustrations with the United States were nothing new to her fans, as she had long been vocal about the systemic issues plaguing the country. However, her recent comments marked a sharp intensification of her views. She took aim at Trump's administration, accusing it, and by extension his supporters, of cultivating a culture of racism and inequality. For Sunny, the issue went far beyond policies. It reflected a segment of the population that resisted progress, making the fight for change an exhausting and uphill battle. She pointed to Trump's immigration policies and his rhetoric on race as examples of the deep-seated problems in American society. Sunny described living in the U.S. as feeling like being in a country that suppresses success unless individuals conform to specific appearances or ideologies, which she found deeply oppressive.
It's the more insidious, secret partisan behavior of very liberal-dominated newsrooms working at the supposedly impartial.
The backlash to Sunny's comments was swift and intense, with social media exploding in a storm of criticism, much of it sharp and unforgiving. Critics accused her of hypocrisy, pointing out her lucrative position as a co-host on a major American talk show. Some questioned why she didn't simply leave her privileged role if she found the country so problematic, with one Twitter user sarcastically suggesting she see how far she'd get elsewhere. Others labeled her comments as divisive and ungrateful, claiming she was ignoring the opportunities she had been given. Despite the fierce criticism, Sunny's supporters rallied behind her, praising her for using her platform to tackle uncomfortable truths and for having the courage to take a bold stance. Many agreed with her perspective, with one fan on Twitter acknowledging America's racism and commending Sunny for speaking out so unequivocally. This isn't the first time Sunny has found herself at the heart of controversy. Her outspoken nature has often drawn criticism, particularly when it comes to her views on Trump and his supporters. After the 2016 election, she famously referred to conservative white women as roaches, a comment that sparked widespread condemnation. She has also criticized Latino men for being sexist, and called Black Republicans an oxymoron. While these remarks have been polarizing, they've also solidified Sunny's reputation as someone unafraid to speak her mind, no matter how much it ruffles feathers. However, her latest comments about moving to Canada have taken the controversy to a whole new level, with some questioning whether she's truly serious or simply trying to grab headlines.
She is self-appointed, she knows everything. It's great to see her ego take this hit, but I think it will be short-lived.
It's amazing to listen to her.
Sunny maintains that her decision is genuine, though she recognizes the complexities involved. She expressed a strong desire to leave the country immediately, but admitted that the process is far from straightforward, citing the challenges posed by her family, career, and the logistics of relocating as significant hurdles. Despite acknowledging these difficulties, her comments only fueled the backlash, with critics accusing her of being all talk and no action. Some suggested that if she was truly dissatisfied, she should just leave, while others argued that she should stop complaining and focus on improving the situation within the country. However, her supporters defended her, pointing out that the very idea of such a drastic move underscored the gravity of the issues she was addressing. Many saw her perspective as a reflection of the wider discontent in the nation, with one fan noting that Sunny's feelings resonated with millions of people who lack the platform to voice their concerns.
When it comes to questions about who is the administrator of Doge, actually, do you believe that's an important question to have the answer to?
No, the issue is not who is technically the administrator, who has the title. Elon Musk is clearly running the show, the wealthiest person in the world, who has enormous conflicts of interests, who is helping to fund right-wing extremist organizations.
The controversy deepened when Sunny sharply criticized Trump's voter base, characterizing their support as fueled by cultural resentment. She suggested it stemmed from a fear of losing societal privilege, arguing that they were resistant to equality and determined to maintain power, even if it meant supporting someone she considered unfit for office. This statement immediately sparked backlash from Trump supporters, who took to social media to express their outrage. Many accused Sunny of being out of touch with their realities and dismissive of their viewpoints. They described themselves as hardworking individuals simply trying to make a living, rejecting her broad generalizations about their motivations. The tension surrounding Sunny's comments spilled over into The View, where her strong opinions have frequently clashed with her co-hosts. During the same episode, she engaged in a heated exchange with Alyssa Farah Griffin, the show's resident conservative voice, over Trump's immigration policies. Alyssa interrupted Sunny several times in an attempt to fact-check her, prompting Sunny to snap, "Can I just finish what I was saying so that I don't lose my thought?" The confrontation quickly escalated, forcing Whoopi Goldberg to step in and try to restore order. "Take a breath, ladies," she urged, attempting to diffuse the tension. But the damage was done, and the moment went viral, further fueling the controversy surrounding Sunny's remarks. The fallout from Sunny's announcement has put The View in a difficult position. While the show thrives on lively debates and differing opinions, the backlash to Sunny's comments has reached a level the producers may not have anticipated. Nevertheless, it seems they're standing by her for now. An insider told reporters, "The show thrives on controversy, and as long as it gets people talking, they're not going to ask her to tone it down." However, the lingering question is, how far is too far? Will Sunny's decision to leave the country ultimately affect her role on the show? As the dust begins to settle, one thing is clear: Sunny Host's announcement has struck a chord. Whether or not you agree with her, it's undeniable that her words have sparked a much-needed conversation about the state of the nation. Yet, as Sunny faces the aftermath of her comments, another storm is brewing, one that could make her decision to leave the U.S. appear less like a choice and more like a necessity. Just as the debate over her remarks reached a fever pitch, news broke of a scandal involving her husband, one that threatens to overshadow everything else. With rumors swirling about her potential involvement, the question on everyone's mind is Sunny hosting The View running from more than just a country she calls racist?
This country is moving very rapidly under Trump into an authoritarian form of society. You know, the founding fathers, way back in the 1770s, these were nobody's fools. And they had fought the King of England, an autocrat, had all the power, and they said, you know what? We don't want that in the new country. We're going to set up 3 separate equal branches of government.
Just when you thought Sonny Host's dramatic announcement about leaving the U.S. couldn't get any more dramatic, the story takes a shocking turn. Behind her public declarations of wanting to escape what she described as a racist America, a scandal was quietly brewing, a scandal that would soon take center stage and completely flip the narrative on its head. Sonny's husband, orthopedic surgeon Dr. Emmanuel Host, has been hit with serious allegations of insurance fraud in a massive federal case. Let that sink in for a moment. The man Sonny often praised for his dedication to helping others is now accused of being involved in a wide-ranging scheme that includes kickbacks, fraudulent billing, and a whole lot of legal trouble. Could it be that Sonny's sudden desire to leave the U.S. and move to Canada is less about politics and more about avoiding the fallout? Let's dive into this drama, because this story has layers that just keep peeling back.
According to the documents, he knowingly provided fraudulent medical and other healthcare services, including arthroscopic surgeries.
Here's what went down. In December, a major lawsuit was filed in New York, naming Dr. Emmanuel Host and over 180 other defendants in what's being described as one of the largest cases of its kind. The suit claims that Host was involved in a scheme to exploit New York's no-fault auto insurance system, which requires insurance companies to cover medical expenses for passengers involved in traffic accidents. According to the allegations, Host performed unnecessary surgeries on patients with minor injuries and then fraudulently billed the insurance companies, all while pocketing kickbacks disguised as dividends. And we're not talking about small amounts here. This case is worth hundreds of millions of dollars. The accusations paint a picture of a highly orchestrated operation designed to exploit the system for all it's worth. If true, it's a scandal. That could have devastating consequences, not just for Emmanuel Host, but for Sonny and their family as well.
This is the largest RICO case ever filed in the state of New York. You guys wrap that around your brain. That's bigger than the mafia.
Now let's talk about the timing. The lawsuit was filed just weeks before Sonny made her explosive announcement on The View. Coincidence? Maybe. But let's be honest. Given the scale of this case and the public nature of Sonny's platform, it's hard to believe she didn't know what was coming. Some are speculating that her decision to move to Canada isn't just about escaping the political climate, but also about distancing herself from this looming legal nightmare. After all, Sonny has built her reputation on being a truth teller and an advocate for justice. Being linked to a scandal of this magnitude could seriously damage that image, and just when you think it can't get any more complicated, rumors are swirling that Sonny may have been more involved in her husband's dealings than she's letting on.
Emmanuel denied the allegations via a statement through his lawyer, telling Daily Mail that his client, quote, denies each and every allegation and that the lawsuit is a blanket, scattershot, meritless lawsuit.
Emmanuel has denied the allegations through a statement issued by his lawyer, telling Daily Mail that his client denies each and every allegation and that the lawsuit is a blanket, scattershot, meritless lawsuit. However, insiders close to the case have hinted that Sonny might have been aware of her husband's alleged activities, even if she wasn't directly involved. One source claimed, "It's hard to believe she didn't know something was off. They've been married for decades and she's a lawyer. You're telling me she never asked questions about where the money was coming from?" Of course, these are just rumors at this stage, but they raise some serious questions. If Sonny knew about the alleged fraud, why didn't she speak out? And if she didn't know, what does that say about the dynamics of their relationship? Either way, it's not a good look for someone who has built her career on calling out corruption and holding others accountable.
So he was scamming insurance companies from taxi drivers, Uber drivers, and Lyft drivers. He was performing unnecessary surgeries and then providing fraudulent medical services in exchange.
Sonny, for her part, has been quick to defend her husband. In a statement obtained by Entertainment Weekly, she blasted the insurance company behind the lawsuit, describing it as a near-bankrupt organization notorious for filing frivolous claims. "This company has a history of harassing doctors to avoid paying its bills," she said. "They're using my celebrity status to launch a disgusting smear campaign against my husband." Sonny also revealed that her family plans to file a counter-lawsuit for defamation, seeking millions in damages. She didn't hold back, stating, "Where I come from, American Transit will receive a PhD from FFO University." For those unfamiliar, FAFO stands for Fool Around and Find Out, a phrase that makes it clear Sonny is ready to fight back. But will her fiery rhetoric be enough to sway public opinion? That remains to be seen.
Of Sunny Hostin on The View, Tom, basically implicating her husband in this type of a scheme.
Meanwhile, the allegations against Dr. Emmanuel Host are both detailed and damning. The lawsuit cites specific examples of patients who were involved in minor car accidents, but ended up undergoing invasive surgeries that were allegedly unnecessary. In one instance, a patient with what was described as soft tissue injuries reportedly received arthroscopic surgery, a procedure typically reserved for more serious conditions. The insurance company claims these surgeries were not only unwarranted, but also performed as part of a scheme to inflate medical bills and secure higher payouts. And it doesn't stop there. Dr. Host is also accused of having a financial interest in the surgery center where many of these procedures took place, raising serious questions about whether he was profiting from both ends of the scheme.
But it's just, I mean, Pat, you're married. Tom, you're married. If your husband's doing something, if he's allegedly doing something like this, you guys would know if your wives were up to some nefarious stuff. Let's just not forget who she is.
As the legal drama unfolds, Sunny's career and public image are hanging in the balance. The timing couldn't be worse. Just as she's making headlines for her controversial remarks on The View, this scandal threatens to overshadow everything else. And let's not forget, Sunny is no stranger to criticism. Over the years, she's faced backlash for her outspoken views, particularly on race and politics. But this is different. This isn't about her opinions. It's about her personal life, her family, and her integrity. In the world of daytime television, where public perception is everything, that's a much tougher battle to fight. The impact on The View has been immediate. While the show thrives on controversy, Sunny's personal drama has added a new layer of tension to the already heated debates. Some of her co-hosts have reportedly expressed concern about how this scandal could affect the show's reputation. One insider revealed, "There's definitely been chatter behind the scenes. People are worried this could become a distraction, especially since Sunny is such a prominent voice on the panel." And let's not forget about the viewers. While some fans have rallied behind Sunny, others have been less forgiving. Social media is flooded with comments questioning her credibility and calling for her to step down. "How can she sit there and lecture us about morality when her own house isn't in order?" one commenter wrote. It's a fair question, and one that Sunny will need to address if she hopes to weather this storm.
She's been, for years, lecturing America about morality, inequality, systemic failures.
But here's where things get even more interesting. Amid all the chaos, Sunny has remained unapologetically defiant. She continues to speak out on issues of race, politics, and social justice, refusing to let the scandal silence her. In a recent episode of The View, she doubled down on her criticism of Trump and his supporters, calling them the biggest threat to progress in this country. Her remarks sparked yet another wave of backlash, but Sunny seemed unfazed. So where does this leave us? On one hand, you have Sunny Host, the outspoken co-host of The View, who isn't afraid to ruffle feathers. On the other, you have a woman whose family is facing serious legal trouble, raising questions about her moral high ground. Is Sunny a victim of circumstance, or is there more to the story than she's letting on? And what does this scandal mean for her future on The View? And beyond? These are the questions that have everyone talking, and they're questions that only time will answer.
Now, he's just accused, and this accused in a lawsuit after some time of investigation could ultimately become a federal indictment. That's the apparent.
As the legal case against her husband moves forward, all eyes will be on Sunny to see how she navigates this challenging chapter of her life. Will she continue to stand by her husband and fight the allegations, or will the pressure become too much to bear? And perhaps most importantly, will her audience stick with her? Or will this scandal mark the beginning of the end for one of daytime television's most polarizing figures? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below, and stay tuned for more updates on this unfolding saga.